Março, or March. In March, I decided I wanted to be involved in more activities. I met a guy, my neighbor, named Diogo, and he asked me to join his church choir group, and I said yes. So every Monday and Thursday, we would go to his Catholic church, and we would sing in Latin. I didn't understand Latin, but I got a little bit of the hold of it. It's very similar to Portuguese. So when I got there, my instructor was amazed. I said I didn't understand any of it, but after a while, I got to know it. Sadly, when our biggest presentation came, I got a big fever and I wasn't able to sing. But it was definitely a really good experience to be able to sing with them. Also, something that's interesting is in the church where we would sing, these birds would be in the roofs and they would swoop down during the church service, and those were the green parrots that we would see daily. Here's the biggest church in my hometown, Camila in front of it. And did I skip too far? Oh. And this is when probably the highlight of my exchange came around. I went to my Rotary and I did a presentation and I said I want to do something for the neighborhood Matuginjing, which was the poorest neighborhood in our city, and I found it somewhat unjust that our city had spent so much money on beautiful fountains and parks, yet this small neighborhood out on the outskirts of the city didn't have roads, didn't have real houses, and they had makeshift doors instead of real ones, and these children who were barefoot with barely any clothes would run around. And throughout this entire year, I went every Wednesday to give them food and play with them, but I felt it wasn't enough. So I went with this idea that we could take recycled water bottles and teach them how to harvest their own lettuce, tomatoes, grow their own food. So here I went to my Rotary and I said, hey, I need bottles. And they came through, they got me about 60 bottles. So I washed them all out, I cut them, and I documented the process. And then I went to the community and I taught all of the kids some sciencey facts as well, and we got to decorate our bottles. And this is a little girl named Laura who I actually made a speech about in my school, which I'll publish later in another video, who she really changed my life. Here I am just teaching the kids how to do their name cards and stuff, and helping them again. And there were kids of all ages, really. And in the beginning of the year, they were very shy and they didn't trust me. And they thought I was just there to be there. But as the year went on and I became better at Portuguese, we became really close and I was able to form a connection with a lot of them. Here's a picture of everyone with their plants ready to go. And here's a picture with Diogo that I mentioned that I sang in with the church choir. He actually asked me to go to a Catholic church outing where it was a secret event where young teens that felt as though they needed the guidance of God would go to an organization or an event where they would really just have a religious experience, but you couldn't tell anyone about it. It was completely secret.